Hi there. I'm Nadira Jamal, hostess of the Belly Dance Geek Clubhouse, and welcome to this special interview series with my fellow instructors at the 2014 Las Vegas Belly Dance Intensive. The LVBDI will be held September 4th through 7th at the Flamingo Hotel Casino in Las Vegas. To learn more about the intensive or to register, visit bellydanceintensive.com. My guest today is Raksanna, who will be teaching Sizzlin, Sassy, Saidi. Known for her energetic, powerful, and fun-loving original style, Raksanna is an award-winning, internationally recognized Middle Eastern dance artist. In addition to being a regular teacher at Rakia Hassan's annual Ahlan wa Sahlan in Cairo, Raksanna was invited by Rhonda Kamal to represent the United States this May as a member of the faculty at Rhonda's Rocks of Course. The author of her original book, Confessions of a Belly Dancer, Secrets of the Hieroglyph, Raksanna co-produced the theatrical adaptation of the book with the legendary Momo Caduce and is now launching the show's international tour. Check her out at raksanna.com, spelled Raksanna. Thanks for joining me, Raksanna.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about the workshop you're teaching at the LVBDI.
Well, I'm really excited about this choreography. It's done to a piece by Amr Diab called Benedict Talley, and the choreography was actually featured as our casting call for Confessions of a Belly Dancer when we performed it off-Broadway in New York City. And the reason why I think it's going to be so much fun is because it takes a contemporary piece and it puts on modern Oriental dance to it, and it's really fun and energetic. And Benedict Talley, the translation means, I'm calling you. So I think it's a wonderful piece that dancers can take away as a solo piece for a finale for their own performance and use to cause the audience to become interactive with them. It's a very fun-loving, very passionate, very energetic piece, and it has a lot of shimmies in it, and it has some complex, tantalizing patterns, so I think everyone will walk away with something fun from it.
Excellent. So it sounds like it's a learning opportunity rather than just a set piece to take home.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, my approach to teaching a workshop is I like to break the patterns down into sizable chunks that you can really master. And if you don't remember the choreography after the workshop, that's okay, that's fine. What I really care about students walking away from is something that they can latch onto and say, hey, I can take that, I can make it mine. So what I try to do at the first part of the workshop is do a nice warm-up, and then we go over the technique and the footwork. And then after we take a little break, we come back in and we delve into the choreography. So the benefit to doing it that way for students is they get a chance to play with the material ahead of time and then put it into context of a choreography, and then when they leave, they have something that they can remember, and if they want to videotape it, use it for their own personal development, I think that's fantastic.
Excellent. And from the description that I read of your session on the LVBDI site, it sounds like this has got a very, modern, stageified style to it rather than that kind of like down-home, earthy village style. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. When I put it together, I decided I did not want to take a more traditional folkloric approach to it, and the reason I didn't want to was because I felt like the music itself was just modern and really contemporary. So rather than relying on the standard movements that are more traditionally seen in a long galabeya with maybe doing it with a stick, I wanted to take it and put it more into a modern Oriental piece that could be used for a professional set. So this would be something that you could use, for example, if you were doing a 30-minute set in a restaurant or on a cruise ship, and you could do it right after your majance, after a big orchestrated piece. So, yes, you're absolutely right. It's not traditional at all. It's very modern, very contemporary, very fun, and very flashy.
Excellent. And, why did you decide that you wanted to teach Saidi at this particular event?
I wanted to teach it because there are so many different takes on Saidi. As you alluded to before, there's the traditional coming from Luxor, really with mizmar, very heavy, very earthy type style. But then there's also the genre that's coming out now, seen in dancers like Rhonda Kamal, Dina, and some other ones that are out there, Aziz of Cairo, and they're really taking it to that next level. They're taking a modern approach, but they're doing it more with elevated footwork, with just more energy and more complex steps and technique. And I felt like, especially in America, that's something really important for dancers here because they might not have been exposed to it if they haven't had a chance to go to Egypt or if they haven't had a chance to study with some of the Egyptians that come in. So I thought rather than taking that modern approach, I wanted to do something fun and splashy and also something that would appeal to American audiences. So sometimes when you're listening to pieces such as Luxor Baladna or some of the other traditional Saidi pieces, the mizmar is not as kind to a Western ear as it is once you've acquired that a taste for it. But Ahmadiyya really does appeal to global audiences, and it's got a steady beat. It certainly has the Saidi rhythm with it, but it's something that I think people can really just kind of shimmy down to and have a great time with.
Excellent. Yeah, I know what you mean about the mizmar. I find myself putting it on in class, and if it's the first week of class, my students get that kind of squinty-eyed, like, ow, look, and I'm like, I forgot you're not used to this yet.
Exactly.
No, that's great. I think that that's such an underestimated thing when it comes to performance strategy is that we spend so much time cultivating our tastes and, learning how beautiful some of these things are that are acquired tastes. But taking your audience into account is such a big deal. So I think that it's really great that you're giving people something that is still reflective of what's going on in Egypt right now, but is still, more suitable for Western tastes. So it's a good gateway drug, if you will.
Thank you. The other thing I forgot to mention, too, that I try to do is I try to give education and the history behind it. So what I do in my choreography, especially when I move to modern, is I take the folklore and then I bring it up to the modern stage. But I also explain to the students, this is where it comes from. This is the difference between a folklore step and a modern step. So that way they can visibly see, okay, I understand this, and now I can apply it to whichever way I decide to dance that night. I think it's important for people to have that background because we can all look beautiful in a bra and belt set, but really when we have a beautiful bra and belt set, we look stunning and we've got the brains behind it, we are dangerous, and I like that.
I think I want that on a T-shirt. So who would you say this workshop is most appropriate for?
It's actually appropriate for anyone. The choreography itself is intermediate to advanced level. So if someone is just entering belly dance and they're kind of a beginner, I would say between a year, 0 to a year's worth of experience there, I would say they will definitely be challenged with this class. The choreography is complex, but they'll be able to have a great song. They'll be able to walk through some new movements and to be exposed to an Egyptian modern style dancer. Excuse me. The people who want a choreography that they can remember and they can put onto the stage and they've got that kind of disciplined mind for choreography, they'll absolutely love it. And then people who are just looking for technique and different types of patterns, they will really enjoy it as well. Again, because I try in my approach to give something to everyone. I feel like as a teacher, it's my job to make people leave inspired regardless of their level and to give them something so that way they can walk away stronger either intellectually or with their body movements or in the dance themselves. So I think that people who are interested in more of the Egyptian style will really gravitate towards it. Someone who's a tribal dancer, they may or may not enjoy it as much as someone who prefers more Oriental, but you never know. I just am a lover of all belly dancers, so I hope everybody comes regardless of their genre.
Absolutely. And, even if something isn't your style, sometimes just taking one little 90-minute cross-training session can spark all kinds of inspiration that you can apply to your own style. So, I think that's just such a great way to keep yourself fresh and inspired.
Yes. So, and speaking of that, that's one of the things that I'm really excited about going to this festival for. It's certainly the networking and that type of thing, but I feel like as a teacher and as an artist, I feel like a beautiful pitcher of water, like this cobalt blue pitcher that's filled up with ice water. And all my students and all my audiences are cobalt blue glasses. And so I take my pitcher and I pour my pitcher out and I pour my water to everyone and I give. And then I look back in my pitcher and there's no water. So one of the things I'm really excited about is taking other teachers' workshops to get inspired, to get that kind of flash of, hey, this is exciting, and to just really, look at things in a different perspective. I think that's one of the many benefits that this festival offers. I also think that another benefit that it offers is the opportunity to meet dancers from all over the world and to really get to know each other on a personal level. And coming together with women and men of all ages, all sizes, all shapes, with a common love of the art form and a common love of learning and of experiencing. And, of course, it's in Las Vegas, so I think it's going to be great.
You'd be surprised how many people mention, oh, my God, it's in Vegas, when I ask them what they're excited about for this. So I've never been, and I'm excited, too. So can you tell us how you originally got into Saidi?
Sure, absolutely. I had been studying belly dance for a few years, and I decided it was time for me to go to Egypt. And so I went to Egypt, and I fell in love with it. I actually went to, as a student, to Aslan Masalan in Cairo, sponsored by Raya Hassan. And I found out that she had this teacher's course. And in December, and it was an intensive teacher's course that you go for basically 14 days. There's no break. You go from 8 in the morning until 5 at night. You get a break for lunch, and then you come or dinner, and then you come back from 6 to 9 for lecture. And I thought, I better go. So I went, and it was my first exposure to Saidi in terms of the real, authentic Saidi. Not just the Reda style, which I absolutely adore, Mahmoud Reda style, but really the people from Luxor, and watching the way that they danced and being exposed to the music and hearing the mizmar outside for the first time, which is a completely different experience than hearing it inside. And what I found that the spirit and that love of life just really resonated in the music and in the movements. Saidi women are very strong, absolutely very strong. It's definitely a segregated culture down in the southern part of Egypt. And in order for a woman to have her own personal power, she has to be strong and able to care for her family and able to fight for her viewpoints, but at the same time still have that softness and still have that femininity that she embraces. And it was just so compelling to me. I felt like it was really capturing the essence of womanhood. And then to see the men dance, Saidi, is so spectacular because it's so strong, so manly. And when you see the men and the women dance together, it's just breathtaking. And I just truly fell in love. I love the earthy beat. I love the rhythm. I think that it's something that just touches me at the soul level. And what I found is that it touches most people at the soul level because you hear that Saidi and you can't stop dancing.
Mm-hmm. And can you share one tip from your session that people can start using right now?
Absolutely. Listen to the music and live the music. Be the music. Regardless of if it's Amardiev's Vanity Tally, which is the piece that we'll be working with in my workshop in Las Vegas, or if it's any type of music that you really are compelled to listen to and to dance to. I remember Dr. Moghadawi, we were talking at one of his sessions, and I said, I really want to be the best dancer I can be. How do I get there? What do I do? And Dr. Moghadawi looked at me and he said, you have to become the music. You have to live it. You have to breathe it. It has to become part of who you are. And I listened to that, and I really took that to heart, and I feel like that's the most important thing that I can share with any dancer, whether it's to take my Sizzlin Sassy Saidi one, or if it's to take Aziz's workshop, or any of the other really wonderful instructors that are out there. Listen to the music, become the music, and embrace the fact that you're a dancer and an artist. I think a lot of times people say, oh, I'm a dancer in my part-time, or in my passion, in my hobby. But honestly, if you're a dancer, you're a dancer, and that transcends your corporate job. That transcends what you do to put food on your table. So become the dance.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. I kind of want that on a T-shirt too, but that would be a little longer.
Thanks.
I think we could make a whole line of T-shirts from LVBDI instructors.
I think that's a great idea. I'd buy them.
Maybe we should talk to Samira about getting that done. Huh. Anyway, well, thank you so much for joining me, Raksanna.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me share my excitement for this festival. I think the Las Vegas Belly Dance Intensive is a spectacular, wonderfully ran festival, and I'm really pleased and honored to be part of the faculty.
Yay! And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you'd like to learn more from Raksanna, you can check her out at raksanna.com. Again, that's RAKSANNA.com. Or better yet, take her session at the Las Vegas Belly Dance Intensive. You can register at bellydanceintensive.com. And for more interviews with our fabulous instructors, go to bellydancegeek.com/Las Vegas.